All right, everybody. This is Marcel Pertut, the Sports Inquirer, and we happy to be joined by Ed Joyce, head coach of Georgia State women's soccer. We were just talking before we started, a very active matches against Furman and Presbyterian. You scored 8 total goals in those two contests. Just looking back at those two contests, what are your overall impressions of the team and where you're at?
Really good impressions, to be honest. And obviously, Furman. Anytime we went our best version of ourselves early on and went down early. And anytime a team manages to come back from 2-0 down and get a draw, which I think it's probably fair on the day. I think we could have probably nicked it a couple of times and won 3-2, but I think it's probably fair given how we started the game. But came on from strength to strength. Obviously, Gracen scored 2 of the better goals you'll see. And we're really hoping that really spurs her on to carry on in a good vein of form that she's been in. Then moving on to Sunday, it was a good performance, but I think we were a little wasteful at times in front of goal. And anytime you score 6, you have to be happy. But I felt like the game could have been more comfortable for us earlier had we been a bit more clinical. But again, you win 6-2, and moving on to conference play, we'd be pretty greedy not to be happy with that.
Yeah, going back to that Furman contest on September 10th, I watched it. Struggled defensively, clearing the ball and let some loose balls in your penalty area that they were able to put behind the net. What can you take from that just defensively? And you sharpened up that defense and able to get the draw. But yeah, that first half, the first 20, 30 minutes, it just seemed like the defense was just struggling at the start.
It was a little nervous, maybe. I mean, we knew they had an awful lot of pace up front. Number 11, Jasmine, for them was electric in terms of the pace she has. I mean, we knew that they knew that was a problem for us, and that they were kind of on edge, I think, a little bit, because the ball fell to 2 players that we normally would rely upon to do a bit better with that. And I think, as to your point, they sharpened up with the clearances as time went on. And Gracen scored at a great time, and then we obviously scored very early in the second half, which I think helps you settle down into a rhythm. Because second half, I thought we were fantastic. I thought we did everything we talk about doing, create some good opportunities, move the ball quickly against a good team. I mean, they're going to win a lot of games this year. Furman do win consistently in that conference, and I don't think this year will be any different for them. So, I mean, I feel like that's a good performance based on what we did to ourselves. Because the goals we did to ourselves, to be honest, the 2 goals we conceded, so to get the kids bouncing back and taking the game by the scruff of the neck and going forth was really positive for us.
You mentioned Gracen Crosby. She scored 2 goals, both of them long distance shots. One was off of a free kick. The first one was she received a nice pass from Julie Ruff. Now, what about those and you've done this very well throughout the season. You scored on free kicks, on long distance shots. Is that just a part of the arsenal of the offense that you really worked on this year, putting players in those positions, to being used to being in those positions to score in their contest?
Yeah, I just think it's the nature of the game. I mean, as coaches, the set pieces, the corners, free kicks is really the only opportunity we have in kind of the traditional American sense of sports, of like having plays, so to speak. So much of everything else is based upon principles and players making decisions, and sometimes players making bad decisions. So, I mean, I think for us, the set piece is always something we want to be disciplined on, make sure we do properly. But the long distance strikes and things of that nature are more down to the players themselves having the skill set to do so. Do I think we shoot a little bit too much from distance? Probably so. But when she puts one top corner the first time and then bottom corner the second time, it's hard for me to turn around and tell her not to do it. So, we want to be balanced. I think we got to be a bit better inside the box, to be honest. We against Presbyterian, we created a lot of really good opportunity inside the box that we let go begging a touch. So I think that's going to be the focus moving forward in the conference, is being a bit more threatening and a bit more clinical once we get inside the box.
Yeah, and then those are highlight goals for her. And then Maria Subes, she made a career high 8 saves and goal for that contest, facing a career high 21 shots. Just what about the defense and making those adjustments in that second half? Because as I mentioned, the defensive struggles. What was that like? Just seeing the team be able to make those changes really on the fly and at least limit them from scoring again.
Yeah, I think it wasn't. I wouldn't say they would changes. I think it's just settling down a little bit. I think the timing of the goals was not ideal, and then that just anxiety sets in and you get a bit more tense. And I think it was more, Gracen's goal getting us to 2-1 gave us a hook back in the game, and I think that probably helped the defense settle down more than anything. Which really is our kids believing in themselves and believing in what we do. I think the difference was us on the ball dictates us without the ball. So I think the fact that we focused on keeping the ball a bit more, and if you have it, you don't have to defend as much. And I think that was the difference in the second half. Really was the way our defenders play. If we have the ball, they're confident. If we don't, they're not. And I think that was the main change.
Yeah, and that very good draw for you. Let's go to Presbyterian. Defeated them 6-2 on September 12th. Kelsee, Holloway, and Jimena Cabrero, they combined on those 2 goals to start the contest for you. What about those 2 linking up and getting some good synergy going as you head to conference play?
It's great for Kelsee. She's one of our hardest working kids. I know you tried to talk to her before as well. She's a little shy on the old media, but she works super hard. We were really happy for her when she went in the game. We kind of said to her, like, go on, get yourself something because you deserve it. And she went in and, honestly could have had 3 in 5 minutes. So she's kind of an instinctive finisher. She gets in the right spots and kind of does the work from there. But Jimena can create out of nothing, and that's what she did for those 2 goals for Kelsee, was just kind of create out of nothing. So we're hoping to get Jimena back to full strength. I think she's been injured a little bit, so I think she's probably about 85% at the moment. So to get her to have a day like that when she's not feeling her best, I think was really, really positive. But anytime you're scoring goals going into conference play, and you can kind of, as coaches, we're kind of habitually picking things apart as opposed to kind of maybe emphasizing on what's positive, what's going right from time to time. So I think for us, we've got to be happy. I think 5-2-1 is the best we've been going in the conference for a long time. So we've got to be happy and feeling confident going into what's going to be a long road trip this weekend.
Yeah, let's wrap up non-conference play before we get to the Sun Belt. You finished, you said 2-1, ended the non-conference on a 5-match unbeaten streak. Just what about that? Just having a winning record through this portion of the schedule, with a lot of different players and moving parts and trying to get them all acclimated, non-traditional offseason. What does that say about the team and where it's at now?
Yeah, they're talented. To be honest, I think we've got a really talented group of girls that they deserve all the credit. I'm a big believer that we facilitate the game and the players make the game. So when during the week we work on what we want to work on, and we try and get some ideas in their heads, but on the weekends they're the ones that have to do it. So more power and respect to them, because many teams after the Georgia game could have crumbled from a confidence standpoint, and they didn't. They kept on grinding together and gone towards common goals. So I think for us, our goal as a team is to be a team that teams don't want to play. That's what we always say. And that's something that, as a team, when you look at us and you're thinking, it'll be a tough game today, we're doing our jobs as players and coaches. And I think we're hopefully molding ourselves into one of those teams that we want to be.
Yeah, and we're finally in conference play. You get Texas State, we get Louisiana first, and then Texas State, starting with the Raging Cajuns on September 16th. As you mentioned, it's a long road trip for you from Atlanta to Lafayette. Where's the team right now, you think, as you get into conference play?
We're in a good place. I think it's a fun trip. It's a long trip. It's a fun trip because it's obviously kind of it's not quite planes, trains, and automobiles, but it's planes and automobiles. So we're on the plane, and gives the girls an opportunity to kind of immerse themselves almost in each other a little bit, into the team dynamic, because there's no class. There's only 22 of them traveling, so there's 22 of them together for 5 days. We usually rotate roommates around as well, so people that they don't necessarily know as well. So for us and for me as a player and even as a coach, the road trips is where it's the most fun. The nice part for us is obviously going to Texas State. There's a chance to see a little bit of Austin as well, which is a cool city. So we'll stay a night in Austin and show the girls around a little bit. But the only real caveat that we're concerned about now is obviously there's a little hurricane going through Louisiana at the moment, which I think is dumping between 3 and 5 inches on them. So it could be a little bit wet Thursday night, but for us and what we do, I mean, I think we're fortunate that we can adapt the way we play based upon the conditions and the opponent fairly well. So fingers crossed, we start off in a good way, and continue getting some of these young kids some confidence, as well as getting our old players kind of back into the form they were in last fall.
All right, Ed. Well, thank you for your time. We greatly appreciate it. And safe travels to Louisiana, as you mentioned, everything that's going on there. Safe travels and good luck.
Thank you.